Hey, I'm not sure what to do here, but I thought I might as well try and describe these images in in some way. For example, here we've got a big chaos, right, of a situation, chaotic situation. Things are going very badly, and everything is falling down. Then Donkey Kong here has thrown a bunch of strawberries into the air, like these over here. And you could think, well, why has he thrown them, right? I would say it's just pure being startled, right? You could say. In this one, Luigi's a bit scared. He might have done something wrong. We're not quite sure about that, but he might have. He's looking over here like, did I mess up? Right? He probably did mess up. You would assume that he's done something wrong. What he's done wrong seems to be he's handled the controls incorrectly and done something that he shouldn't have. Right? He picked up Wario instead of picking up something else. This other thing he was supposed to pick up was this. A red metal plate. This is a red metal plate with stuff on it. It's got these pipes on it. And this was supposed to be lifted up. But instead of this being lifted up, something else gets lifted up. And it's Wario. Right? And one doesn't quite know why this has happened exactly. But Luigi seems to have been in charge of it happening, maybe. I mean, Mario was in charge probably of, you see his hand here is lifted, so he's saying, stop. So one could think, well, before saying stop, he was probably saying, hey, like I'm helping you to park your vehicle, for example, and I say, stop, stop, stop. Like, if you say stop too late, then in some sense it's also like your fault in some way. So Mario's also kind of faulty here. He's done something that wasn't quite the right indication, maybe, for what was supposed to happen. Of course, that sets us off on a land of judgment and saying who's done it right and who hasn't done it right. And that's not really the point of this. I'm not trying to judge these characters or anyone, right? I'm not interested in that. But we do have Mario performing certain type of actions and other characters performing certain other types of actions. Like here, for example, if I can zoom in a little bit, look at this. Luigi is swinging from a branch. Like, surely he should have been held onto the vine like the other characters, but instead he's swinging from a branch. So he's not really like doing things very right here, I would say. So things are not going really well. He's swinging from a branch. He shouldn't really be swinging from a branch. Again, it's not my place to judge him exactly. But one could say that he shouldn't really be swinging from a branch. He's in a certain situation of danger, hanging there and trying not to fall. That wasn't really his intention. I imagine his intention was to swing on the vines like all the other characters are. And that's it. However, we also see that Wario fell. Right, Wario fell down. Maybe someone took advantage of this situation. Right, maybe Mario took advantage of this situation. You're not quite sure. This is a big image, I think. Mario's in the center. And he's kind of like guiding the whole situation. Side to side of him are Luigi and Yoshi. They're green. So two green characters side by side. This then means that they're holding hands with Mario. right? That much we can say. And they're holding hands with these other two characters, Wario and Peach, who wear distinctively pink purple clothes. And they in turn are aligned. So, right, they are one chain away from Mario. The last element here is Donkey Kong. He's got a red tie. So, once again, we have the color red playing a part of this whole issue, right? And it's as if this was the rainbow. We had the color red, we jumped to green, and then we jumped to purple. And then purple jumps back to red. As if the rainbow is circling in or around itself. And as if red were a color that played an important role in this whole rainbow. Like red is the beginning of the rainbow, or sets itself apart as somehow an important color here. In this instance, in this way that the image is talking about it. Like Mario's the only one with wings on its hat. So he's the only one that is, strictly speaking, having the ability to fly. He can fly. All other characters are being able to fly because of him. They're holding on to him. And he flies. He's the only one who can fly. Then Donkey Kong is at the end. So red and red become the two sides of this chain, you could say. Here a cake was supposed to be built, right? They're carrying this happy birthday tag. So you suppose they're trying to build a cake. One would assume Peach is the one who's building it. You could say that she has like the idea to sort of think about it or plan it, right? The plan is hers. And then all the other characters are following this plan and helping out. However, something happens. There's one single break in the chain, so to speak, and this is Mario tripping over. He trips over this thing. His trip causes everyone else to trip. He trips, right? This affects what Peach is doing, and then what Peach was doing negatively affects what Wario was doing. They all kind of link, right? From red to green again, green to green, green to purple, what Peach is doing, purple to purple again, Wario. So purple then, this whole kind of situation, you see, seems to be what has affected Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong then throws these strawberries up into the air, probably in a state of confusion, right? He just throws them up into the air in shock or something. Like, this huge chaos has happened in front of me, and this chain reaction has happened in front of me, a chain reaction between all of the characters. They were connected, but something kind of broke within them, and this break affected everyone, even if they're not strictly connected by hands, they kind of connect through some other means, and Donkey Kong then throws these strawberries up into the air. Here, Donkey Kong throws this red object into the air as well. We've got this shell that has been thrown. The shell is connected to these 3 pipes, or you could call them palm trees. And these palm trees then seem to resonate with the shell in this weird way. The shell hovers over Yoshi. Yoshi has to jump and catch it. So Yoshi is kind of like the sacrificial figure here. He has to jump and sacrifice himself to save this party, this event that's taking place. Donkey Kong has thrown this shell. This shell couldn't have been thrown, really, if the net hadn't been lowered. Like, Wario helps, I think, lower the net to serve his team. lowering the net allows the shell to pass through. Ideally, the shell should have landed on the net. Like, that's what should have happened. But Wario holds onto the net instead of the shell. The shell was supposed to end on the net, but instead Wario ends up there. And this affects the whole kind of shenanigans of what's happening. The whole shenanigans of what's happening is because Wario is held on to the net. Wario holding onto the net, seems to be the cause of this. He's holding on to something that he shouldn't be holding on to. In some sense, like, he shouldn't be here. This is not his place. His place isn't the net. Following the rules and the order of the situation, Wario really shouldn't have ended up in this situation. One could say that Wario here obviously shouldn't have ended up here either, because these little mountains of cream are the home of the strawberry. And not all of them. This one isn't. But if something, you could say that if something is to be placed on these little mountains of cream, if these little mountains of cream are a home for something, it is a home for strawberries. Donkey Kong's strawberries, these red objects that he threw up into the sky, actually were meant to go here. Like, you see them here, you see them here, you see them over here. Right, there are 3 of them on the ground, there are 3 of them on the air. One would think, maybe, that Wario is now somewhere where he shouldn't really be. This strawberry should have landed here. But, right, it should have landed here the way the red object should have landed on the net. But instead of the red object landing on the net, Wario lands on the net, somehow taking up a position that he shouldn't be in some way. And the positions of places shift in an interesting way. And of course, the kind of... Yeah, okay, enough. Here, for example, this red little plate is, again, a red object that Donkey Kong is holding. Donkey Kong was meant to bring this red object upwards. It was meant to hold on to this crane, which would then elevate the red object up into the sky. However, this red object doesn't end up being where it's meant to be, so to speak. Instead, Wario takes the place of that red object. The red object was meant to be here. That was its home. Wario takes that home instead. And see, the red object was what was meant to be elevated, and Donkey Kong is the red object as well. Donkey Kong is the red-tied, wearing person, red-clothed, like Mario, and seems to represent Mario as a sort of 2 sides of the red spectrum, right? We've got the Donkey Kong red spectrum and the Mario red spectrum. Indeed, right, Mario ascends up towards Donkey Kong in the arcade game. Donkey Kong sits here. Mario has to climb up towards Donkey Kong. And therefore, there is a sort of upward ascent of the red object through something. You could call it a spectrum, maybe. It's as if red ascends up through some sort of a spectrum. Maybe it crosses green, then it crosses purple, and then it maybe reaches red. So red goes up towards red again. I don't know. It does the same journey twice. Like that's one thing maybe that could be said about it. Or maybe red has some way of... See, let's just look at this for a second. Who's messing the situation up? It's Luigi. For example, we could say this. Mario is guiding this process, giving instructions to Luigi. Luigi and Mario were moving something around together. And the instructions that Mario gave, or Mario taking the lead, so to speak, fails. He kind of, you could say he jumps up into the sky or takes a wrong kind of turn. He's given the wrong instruction, you could say. Luigi accepts this instruction, says, okay, should I stop now? Should I continue pushing? Should I pull back? He's following these instructions, but doesn't quite get what Mario means, and so does something wrong. Through Mario's error, you could say, Luigi gets the whole thing wrong. This then causes the whole shenanigan, right? Of course, something similar is happening here, because Mario is kind of taking the lead, you could say. With Luigi, they're both together carrying something, and this process of carrying is messed up. Mario, ostensibly, is the one who kind of trips over, but who receives the brunt of the damage here in terms of respect is Luigi. Luigi's reputation is probably the one that's at stake. You could say Luigi's the one who bumps into Yoshi and bumps into everyone and makes everything fail. In some way, they're all responsible, but they're all responsible for something that one of them takes the brunt of it, and one of them kind of fails and ends up in a position that shouldn't have been there. Wario ends in a position that in some way shouldn't even exist. This is the position of the red object, and yet that's where he ends. He ends there. Right? Why does he end there? Why does Wario end up in the position of the red object? Why should the red object have been there anyway? And anyway, the red object, Mario, was the one who tripped in the first place. Mario is the one who falls, you see. In a sense, Mario is the one who should be falling. But his fall cascades towards Wario. It is Wario who gets the brunt of his reputation smeared and fucked up in some way. In this image, Yoshi seems to carefully be observing the situation. He observes Wario falling. Almost seems to pause and look. As if the vine is a little flaccid, you could say. There's not a lot of impulse in it. It feels as if Yoshi has stopped for a second and taken a look at the situation. Maybe out of concern or something, right? Just concerned, kind of observing what's happening. No one else is really paying attention. No one else is really paying attention to what's happening to Wario. One thing I want to look at is that it seems to me that we could divide these images into 2 blocks of 3. So I'm going to try and suggest that and see where that takes us. See, one block of 3 is the war picture, for example, is what you might consider a bad situation. It's a situation that has a certain danger to it, maybe. Maybe danger is the key. The relationship I'm trying to make here is that I think this danger is present in not all of the images. So, for example, in here, I don't perceive danger. Here I don't perceive danger, even though there is the danger of messing up the cake. I don't perceive danger per se. It's a cake, Here I perceive danger, right? It's something dangerous, but also it's a factory. I think that maybe there is also a theme of work and of doing something that you don't want to do. Maybe that's the theme as well. So war, that previous picture, I would say is also something that you traditionally don't want to do. And here, work is something you don't want to do. Now, this doesn't quite make as much sense, maybe, but this picture, so this is tricky. Because on the one hand, this is Donkey Kong's Jungle Adventure, I think, is what the board is called. So an adventure is something you go on willingly most often, and there is a sense of excitement in adventure, right? You could say that they're not necessarily suffering. There is even some fun involved. However, the archetype of jumping through the jungle over giant pits that you could fall down and through ruined temples, it evokes to me, maybe, again, an idea of danger, even in fun. It's not something you don't want to do, so it's not like work or war. So just to be clear, these are the three I want to connect. I want to connect war, work, and adventure in this way as three images in which there is a slight tinge of something evil, like something could happen here. Maybe there's an ancient trap of spikes in the temple, maybe there's a secret trap you could fall into, maybe there are animals in the jungle that could eat you. I don't know. There is a potential danger that maybe is not something you would want to face full-heartedly, in the same way that maybe here there's no danger, there's no enemies. The worst that can happen to you is that you fall on the cake, and you want the cake, like it's something you want to eat. I don't know. That's just what I'm trying to work with here. And of course, this, for example, Wario is about to fall. Here, Wario has fallen as well. So you could say that this image is just as dangerous as the jungle one. Even more dangerous because they're way higher up. If Wario falls, it's like way more of a danger than falling in the jungle. Right? So you could say, well, there is danger here, and it's not as if necessarily everyone wants to be here. Luigi seems a bit scared. They seem a bit scared. Everyone feels a bit scared. There is a certain fear. But I also want to appeal to a certain kind of like idea present in video games, maybe a certain common sense that's maybe wrong, that this seems like a magical land, and there seem to be supernatural powers at play. Mario has magical wings on his hat. There is a strange sense that you're safe. The clouds are soft, the sun is shining, there's a beautiful rainbow, a beautiful castle. Like, you could fall, but I'm going to work with the idea here that this is a fun image, and it's safe because Mario is safe, and if you're holding on to Mario, you're safe. Obviously it's up to personal kind of interpretation. This could be a terrifying image. I'm terrified of heights, so this is probably the scariest image of all for me personally. But I think that culturally, this is an image that one would look at and be like, oh, nice, fun. There's no enemies, there's no danger, you're just flying magically in the sky. There's something kind of cute and fun about it. Maybe. That's what I would say. So I'm going to try and divide. See, these would be the three positive images, to call them something. I don't know. This one, so this is like 100% fun. There's no enemies, everything's fine. Cake, everything's fine. Sky, there's danger, but everything's kind of fine, more or less. Then here as well, this would be the other three. War, everything isn't fine. Here, everything isn't fine, and you're doing work, which is tiring, and you don't necessarily want to do. It's work, right? It's not play. And this, which is playful, It's adventurous, but there's a slight tinge of danger and there's the danger that goes along with excitement, but still danger. You're still kind of, entering into unknown territory, an abandoned building in the middle of the jungle. There's something kind of dangerous about it. So anyway, those are the three kind of buildings I wanted to look at. Okay, all this writing is me thinking in real time. I'll erase it now. But I have a few thoughts on this, which are basically what I'm erasing, but I'll think about it. Which is, if this is a division that can be made of these levels, this triple division, then it kind of seems to do... Okay, yeah, actually, I need to backtrack a bunch. I'll just backtrack a bunch. See, I'm feeling that these three levels can be set one with the other. So this is the way in which I'm thinking of setting them together. War. Okay. Here we have got a sort of... Okay, this is a tricky one. But I think what we got here is a group effort. It's a group effort. They're collaborating. Now, most images have a group effort. This is a group effort. However, here, it is a group effort to build something, to create a cake, a material structure. Here, I'm not so sure. They're not holding, tools to make a cake or whatever. It's not really a project to build something, in the same way that here also we don't seem to get the idea of their building something. However, here, for example, this doesn't seem to me to be a group effort. It might be. It's a group adventure, a group playing. It might even be competitive, like who can get there first. Maybe this is a race. I don't know. Right, so actually that makes it a bit unclear whether this is a group effort or not. Okay. That's one of the questions. See, here to me it is not clear that this is a group effort. It could be, but they don't seem to be joining forces. For example, here, you're not sure what they're doing. They're just flying around, but they are most certainly joining forces. They need to hold on to one another in order to fly in this way in which they're flying. So it's a group. I would say this is a group effort. You don't know what the group effort is for. They're not building anything. They're just flying around. Okay. Here it's a little more unclear whether this is a group effort. They don't need to hold on. Wario can fall and it doesn't disrupt the rest of the team. Whereas here Wario could fall and keep the rest of the team, but they are holding hands. The image would change if Wario fell. Here, everyone's kind of doing their thing, and they're trying to do it as best as they can. That's how I'm reading this. There's a slight, maybe collaborative but competitive kind of feeling about this. Like everyone's going on an adventure together. Some are more successful than others, and so on. Okay. What kind of division? So here, for example, I think it was pretty clear that they all are collaborating. If one of them falls, the whole thing breaks. They're all needed in the same way that this is. But here they're not building anything. Here they're building something as well. So they're building something. They're putting a bunch of pieces together and they're trying to construct something material together. Okay. That's one way to look at it. In this image, they're not building something. And the whole team, the whole Mario Party team, are most certainly not collaborating. There is one team and there is another team. and there is a competition between them. So I would say that this is, it's fun. There's no danger. There's no problem, but it is still not entirely collaborative. And by collaborative, I mean like the whole Mario Party team. There isn't a whole collaboration between them. That's what makes me connect this image. I keep drawing stuff with this image. Oh, another arrow. Because in this image, there also is, to me, a feeling of this is not the whole team collaborating together. I just get a feeling that in these two images, I feel a sense of non-collaboration, let's just say. Okay, now in this image, I feel collaboration. And here, just to be strict with this for a second, see, of course, yes, there's collaboration here. Clearly, they're all fighting together. There's not a rift between them as there is in the beach volleyball image. But as I said, they're not building anything. I don't see them building something. The images in which they're building something to me are this one and this one. In these two images, they seem to be building something. They're putting the pieces together. This goes connected with this goes connected with this. We move this part, and you put all the pieces together and build a thing, a machine. And here, this one. In this one, you also put all the pieces together and you build something. So that's my question. That's why I'm connecting these two images as well. This image and this image, I connect. They are, in my mind, two images that sort of go together. Now, as I said, the other two images that I feel go together are this image and the volleyball image, because I feel in them a non-collaborative vent, a slightly non-collaborative vent. Everyone's going their own way, or at least there seems to be a slight non-collaborative aspect between the members of the team. That's one thing I get. Here, however, pure collaboration. Here, pure collaboration. The whole team is together. But are they building a cake? No. What are they doing here? They're not building anything. I don't get them to be building anything. So I have a feeling that these two images go together. At the moment, the only reason they're going together, in my mind, is because it's the whole team together, collaborative, but not building. These two, it's collaborative, but building. And in the other two, it's non-collaborative. Not sure exactly what that means. So those are the three stages I want to divide this in at the moment. Hello. So there are questions I would like to ask about these images now, to be quite honest with you. First of all, it seems like we've connected this image with the Donkey Kong image. Okay, let's just say we've connected them. So one thing we could say about these two images is that they correspond to the two animals, non-human animals, in this group of 6 people. We got the dragon or reptile and the monkey. Yeah, I don't know what kind of monkey, but anyway. So, yeah, the two non-human animals in the group would be these two levels that have joined together. If we are to join them together, right, this would be the way in which I would do it, or we would do it. Then the other two levels I joined together with is this one and this one. Now, Luigi and Peach. Luigi and Peach, if I were to find a link between them, the link I can find personally is that they are closely related to Mario. Now, you could maybe say that of Wario, but I'm not clear. I'm not clear on the canonical status of Wario. I'm just not clear on that. And also, Wario, the whole sort of idea behind Wario is that Wario doesn't get along with Mario. Canonically, obviously they do in their party games, but I think the idea behind Wario is that he is like some sort of an opposite to Mario, and therefore someone who isn't very close to Mario in any relational sense. That's what I would claim. Instead, Luigi and Peach are, because Luigi is Mario's brother, so they're close. It's a close-knit relationship, a family relationship, you could say. Right? They presumably like each other. And Peach and Mario also like each other. They're presented as two characters that like each other. They're presented as two characters who have a supposed love interest. So there's a love interest aspect to this, which could potentially make them a couple, maybe. Which would also, in some kind of sense, make them family, in the sense that it's a close-knit connection, a close-knit relationship, right? A brother, a partner, the kind of people you would join for a meal kind of thing. I think that's who Luigi and Peach are. So their two levels are connected in my mind. And so these are the two levels of the partner, the lover, the brother, someone close to you. That's two ways that I see we could connect these levels. Now, this where to go from here? So I was thinking of ways to divide these three levels as well. Now, of course, the final set is Mario and Wario. Mario and Wario, so it's a me, right? So this is the people close to me. The people close to me. And me. And then Wario, I would claim, is a sort of shadow side to Mario. So in a sense, Wario is another aspect of Mario in this sense. Wario is just as much a protagonist as Mario is. It's just the shadow version of the protagonist. That's all I'm going to claim at the moment. So I think that these two levels represent like me. Some sort of sense of ego, maybe, in this sense. So these two levels. Okay. Now, animal, like non-human animal, and human partner or lover or family in some way. Now, another way I was thinking of dividing this up was thinking in terms of past. No, wait, just a second. There are many. Okay, there are questions. Let's focus on the questions. What are the questions we could ask about these images? Well, what I'm doing basically is I'm connecting Donkey Kong's level with Yoshi's level. I'm going to make this bigger. Donkey Kong's level, I'm connecting with Yoshi's level. Peach's level with Luigi's, and Mario's with Wario's. If we're creating two groups of three, we've got Donkey Kong, Luigi, Wario, Mario, Yoshi, Peach. So we've got red, green, purple, and red, green, purple. So Donkey Kong, Luigi, purple, Wario, Mario, Yoshi, Peach. So we've got two sets of the exact same colors. It's just they seem to be united in this strange way, as if one is like the evil side, to call it something, and the other is the good side, to call it something, shadow and light, or something like that. And then within this division, we're doing a strange thing, which is I'm mixing red and green, so that's one combination of colors, red and green. Peach and Luigi, so purple and green. and then red and purple. So there's no combination here. Maybe this is like, I'm not sure exactly how unavoidable this is. Like, maybe the mathematics involved here are really like unavoidable, and this is not a pattern that is of any use. But my non-mathy kind of mind sees that I'm not connecting, like, in this way in which I'm dividing the levels, I'm not connecting Donkey Kong with Mario, red and red. I'm always connecting different unique combinations of colors. So red and green doesn't get repeated. We don't get red and green here, and then Mario and Luigi forming a second iteration of red and green. Instead, I'm just going to look at the camera a sec. What questions can we ask about this data? Well, one question I want to ask about it is, what can we say about this animal versus love interest or family thing be? It seems as if family is someone who's really close to you, and animal, someone who's kind of far away from you in terms of like relating to you. You presumably sort of don't relate as much to a non-human animal. Again, all sort of within presumptions, like sort of a certain fairy tale logic. I would say that there is something to that. The animal is more other in fairy tales, and the love interest is more you, tribe, you block, like you're connected to them in some way. And this sort of distancing between the distant other and the close you, and then even within Wario is the closest of all, because it's the other within you. It's as if, so there's you, part that you identify with, part that you don't identify with, let's say. Then there's the other that you identify with or love, and the other that you kind of don't identify with as much, maybe Luigi. Like, Luigi's not as good as me kind of thing. Maybe, right? Presumably. And then so that's the close other. And then the even more distant other. There's the even more distant other that you love and you super adore and you identify with, which is Yoshi, your companion, your horse, your steed, your animal buddy. And Donkey Kong Donkey Kong and I had some trouble in the past, he used to be my enemy. So it's the distant other who I don't identify with. So there seem to be these different levels of identification. How much do I identify or not identify with me? Do I identify or not identify with you, immediate you? And do I identify or not identify, or empathize or not empathize, for example, with distant you? There's close you and there's distant you. And I was thinking how this... So many things to say here. First of all, like, is there any sense at all? Okay, no, let's look at it some other way. There's this way in which I think fairy tales sometimes develop these themes. Like the fairy tale of the hero who battles a dragon to save the princess. That's like a fairy tale that Mario is based on, basically, right? You battle Bowser to save your friends. So you're battling an enemy to save a non-enemy. You're battling someone you don't identify with to save someone you do identify with. You're facing maybe a part of you that you don't identify with in order to save and come into contact with something that you do identify with, but something that you do identify with and were distanced from. Almost as if battling this thing you didn't identify with, and that you become identified with it in the process of facing it, and therefore out of that situation comes someone who you do identify with, but you weren't fully in contact with. Maybe Bowser's side, the side of Bowser that you do identify with, is Peach, or something like that. Anyway, so one kind of thing I was thinking of here is dividing this into three. It feels to me like it could fit that idea between there's the beast, the animal, and there's the human that you love, your love interest, be it a brother or a lover, right? And then there's you. And so that fits this narrative of the hero who battles the dragon. My power. My laptop. Okay. So you're battling the dragon, and then you're saving the princess or the family or the townspeople or whatever. So you're saving Peach Luigi. You're battling the animal, in this case represented as Yoshi, Donkey Kong, and you are Wario Mario. It feels then to me that first you encounter the animal, and then if you pass the animal's threshold, the animal's like a guardian. If you sort of pass through the animal, you reach this new place where the friend was stored, maybe hidden away in captivity by the dragon. Right, so the dragon is the first thing you face. Then you enter into contact with the friend. First the enemy, then the friend, so to speak. And so,